LLC, owner and creator of Creative Broadcasting, and founder and owner of Talk Radio and TV Network LLC. Tonight we have an amazing special VIP guest by the name of Danisha Rolle. Danisha Rolle is a publisher, producer, philanthropist, and visionary. Danisha currently publishes Set Magazine, produces content for Set Media, and executive produced Black Coffee, a film which can be seen on Netflix and BET Centric worldwide. Danisha is married to Samari Rolle, former NFL All-Pro veteran for the Tennessee Titans and Baltimore Ravens. Danisha and Samari have 4 children. Welcome to the table, the amazing Danisha Rolle.
Wow, thank you so much, Ashley. I am delighted to be joining you.
You are welcome. I'm excited to have you at the table. I know our listeners are going to get some amazing nuggets from you. So please tell us more about your amazing entrepreneur journey.
Well, I think this journey started watching my father, who was an entrepreneur. He actually had a painting company and did claims adjusting, and, just watching him grind inspired me. So just from little, I was excited to get started running my business, went through school, attended Florida A&M University, went on to Pepperdine University, and just dabbled in film producing initially, and then event planning, and then decided that I wanted to start a magazine. I looked, there's Sports Illustrated and there's ESPN, but there was nothing that really spoke to the female sports fans. And so that really provoked me, honestly, to want to start a sports magazine for women, which has become a sports platform for women, really highlighting sports lifestyle. And did that, was national in Barnes & Noble's, Borders, 7-Eleven, Walden Books, and we went straight into locker rooms. It was Set Magazine, and did some events, and have since produced films, and have created the Set an Example Conference for the women of the NFL, and have now begun to really mentor young entrepreneurs. So it's been quite the journey.
Yes, it has. I love your journey and how you started out, and creating those spaces for us to bring to highlight the women in sports, right? By creating a magazine, and how that magazine has turned into a major worldwide national platform for you. That's amazing.
Thank you.
You are welcome. So let's talk more about Set Magazine and tell us more about it, and how can listeners support and get involved?
So one way that listeners can really support and get involved is following us on social media, engaging. We have a website. What was once print has become digital, which is launching and preparing to do big things. You can support by, going on, reading, commenting at setmagazine.com. We're set_media on Instagram, Sports and Entertainment Today on Facebook. And really just, it's for those fans who love sports but want to know what's going on with, let's say LeBron James is producing a film, or, Serena Williams is getting into venture capitalism and investing, and, what she has going on outside of the sport. So those are the things that we highlight. We have Set Weddings, which only highlights athlete weddings, and they're exciting honeymoon destinations as well as baby showers. So those are just some of the aspects of Set, and so love to have you guys follow and support in that way. But also we have the Set an Example Conference. So if there are any listeners who have a business, if you are in a corporate realm and can see a fit where you want to get in front of the women that sit beside the men that play in the most watched sport in America, the NFL, they are the significant others that attend the conference. Our first conference was 2 years ago in Atlanta. We had almost 100 women of the NFL. This past year, 2019, we were in Miami, almost 150 women. And this year, 2020, we will be in Dallas. So if you have a product or a service, you'd like to be a vendor or would like to sponsor, that is one way you can support.
Amazing for our listeners. Please get involved and go to this conference that you're having. This is amazing. This is your third year having the conference. When is the date for the Dallas conference, for the SET conference?
It's June 12th through the 14th.
Okay.
In Dallas. As I mentioned, it is the Women of the NFL. We have amazing panelists and speakers, and you leave truly, truly feeling empowered and inspired and motivated and ready to get back to your community, your family, your husband, your children, and really just make a difference.
So listeners, get involved, support, definitely attend her amazing conference, follow her on social media with her platform, and get involved. So tell us more about SET Media, your company overall, because it has so many different aspects to it. And so just tell us about, the process of it, and, a little bit more about, where you're planning on taking SET Media in the next 5 years.
Oh, absolutely. Well, what I've learned is, it's definitely a journey. You start out with one thing in mind. I honestly started out thinking, oh, my gosh, I'm going to create a magazine, and I see it being, a Condé Nast, Hearst, picking up this magazine. And then we had the collapse of print. And from there, social media took over. And you have Instagram, Twitter, and news comes at you so fast. So we transitioned from print to digital. And then, which for all the entrepreneurs out there, I will say, when you have a passion, don't get discouraged when the climate changes, when you do your research and you see that, things weren't as you initially anticipated. When there is a need, and for me, I'm a woman of faith, when God has placed something on your heart and you know that it is divine, you move with it. And, certain things just stand the test of time. And so that is what has happened for SET. Sports and entertainment is here. It has grown. You've seen women now. We'll have the first female referee and coach for the Super Bowl coming up. So women in sports, when we started SET, it wasn't a thing. We didn't have the support of the different leagues. People were really like, oh, my gosh, a wife? Just sit back. Just enjoy being a wife, and women aren't really in this realm, but it is becoming. With Pam Oliver was like an anomaly. She was one of. Now there's so many women in the sports world and really taking a real interest in sports, and I love to see it. So the climate changes, and that's what happened, and we've evolved. So from now, events are really what has kicked up for us. We have a VIP event coming up March 10th in Miami. It's a Hamilton experience that SET has partnered with Arthur Ashe here. The Broadway musical is coming to Miami, and we have 40 VIPs going to see Hamilton and meeting the cast. So for us, the events are huge. The conference, as I mentioned, really getting in and having experiences with celebrity athletes and entertainers is where we're going with this, and providing content that you won't see on other platforms.
Now, this is just amazing. I love that you said don't be discouraged when the climate changes for our entrepreneurs that are listening, right? Because a lot of people get discouraged in that process, right, of building. And if things are not, happening right now, then they just quit. So let's talk more about that. What is some advice you would give to that entrepreneur that's in that season right now, and the climate is changing, and they're trying to figure out should they stick with it?
Well, the advice that I would give, if you are an entrepreneur and you have one thing in mind and it just isn't working that way that you intended. So, right, for me, I thought, oh, my gosh, this magazine. And then print just isn't evergreen. You're seeing like Ebony. What happened to Ebony magazine? It was huge. And as the climate changes, you change with it. You grow with it. And that's where you really need to have people around you that – a diverse staff, people that have their ear to the street, people that think differently than you do, because that can be an asset for you as well. As you do your research and you see where whatever avenue that you're trying to take, maybe there needs to be a detour, because that's what makes the journey exciting, right? Mm-hmm. Don't give up when you feel like there is a struggle or there is a roadblock or a detour. Just go with it and readjust as you need to.
That is so true. You got to be flexible and be able to adjust as it moves. So I love that. So let's talk about getting in the media for our listeners. I know it's a lot of people that are probably looking to grow in the media. So, Danisha, what is some advice you would give to listeners who are looking to grow in the media industry?
Well, there's so many avenues that you can grow in media, right? So there is, there may be film, there's television, there is, now in this age, media, just social media, so many ways from content creation to, we have photographers and videographers that are really making an imprint in media. So depending on what avenue you want to take, whatever your gift is, you may really be a creative in the sense that you create content for media. If you want to grow in it, I would say surround yourself by people that are doing what you want to do. And then find someone that you look up to and speak to them. See how they got to where they are. And, of course, again, journeys are different, and your gift, I'll say, will make room for you. But at the same time, you want to see, what is it? Where will I find my niche? And wherever that niche is that you'll be taken on this journey, I would say, in the media realm, one way that I got into media was a fluke. I was in L.A., I was in grad school at Pepperdine University, and had a lot of time during the day and decided that, okay, I would do extra work. And was an extra, and every time I would step on set, it would seem as though the director would pull me into being a teacher. And so from there, I got the opportunity to act. And someone, presented, well, do you want to be in this film that I'm producing? And I said, well, now I'm at the stage where I want to actually produce. And so I was able to read scripts and see, and invest in films. My first film, Warner Brothers picked up. And from there, people began to send me scripts, and I would read the scripts. And if it was something that moved me, I would say, okay, what's the budget? Can we do this? Let's invest. And that's how I became an executive producer. So, some things just happen, and, or you can make it happen, as I say. My father used to always say there's so many 4-letter words in this world. Let me give you 10 2-letter words. And if it is to be, it is up to me. So when you see an opportunity, capitalize.
Yes, I agree. I agree with that. Create your own table. If nobody gives you a seat, create your own table. And it's so amazing how you started out as an extra, and it changed your whole life, right? So it doesn't take one opportunity. It doesn't take one opportunity. So what are some strategies you would give to listeners to help them build and produce valuable content? Because people can produce content, but it has to be valuable, and it needs to be unique to stand out to really get to where you want to go. So listeners need strategies on how to make their content different from everybody else's. So could you talk more about that?
Sure. And, this is a process where I'm even learning. Right? So one thing in creating content is creating unique content. What is it about your content that will make you stand out? Original content. Who can you speak with and get tidbits of information that isn't already out there? People want to work with those that they know, like, and trust, right? So put yourself out there, which was something that I struggled with. I wanted to be in the background and just let my work speak for itself. But we are in a day and age where people want to see you. They want to hear from you. They want to get to know you. And being your true and authentic self is what attracts people to you. And there I'll say not everybody will like you, right? But being your true and authentic self is what will help you, in this journey as you're creating content.
You're right. That's so key. That everybody's not going to like you and be authentic and your true self. And that's what separates your journey from everybody else's. So thanks for sharing that. So, Danisha, you are the executive producer of Black Coffee, a film which can be seen on Netflix and BET Centric worldwide. So please tell us more about the process to achieving such an amazing accomplishment. So this is huge.
It is. It is networking, which is one thing that I will say. Get out of your house. Get out of, for some people, they're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to get out and meet people and shake hands and pass out business cards or exchange numbers now, right? That's uncomfortable. Well, I would say get out and network. And via networking and connections, I met a film director and writer, Mark Harris, who has done some amazing work and was able to executive produce Black Coffee. Again, the script moved me, and that film was one that once you watch it, you want to become an entrepreneur. You want to start a business. You want to find love. You know, it's one of those feel-good films, and it did really well on Netflix and has now since, as you mentioned, gone worldwide. So that process for me is, again, having the right people cast, the right, you know, we have some amazing actors and actresses in Black Coffee. And the behind the scenes, just from the PAs and, as I mentioned, directors, writers, everyone that worked on it was just amazing, and it has done well. And I'm actually looking forward to our next project. And, of course, Ashley, I'll give you a heads up when that one comes out. But, you know, it's just, you know, it's I don't know, it's been a blessing. I say it is divine, and one of those things where I'm just grateful.
And I love that you spoke about, you know, getting out and networking and collaborating. So I'm big on the power of networking and collaboration because I believe that our destiny is tied to our connections. So let's talk more about that, Danisha. Could you enlighten us a little bit more on that collaborating part? Because I think a lot of people want to collaborate, but they probably don't really know what collaboration really is. So can we talk more about the power of networking and collaborating?
Absolutely. You know, there is power in, you know, sitting down and listening. We always want to share our stories, but sometimes just listening and seeing where you can support someone else. And in that, supporting other people, and when I say networking, meaning going to different events. And one thing that just happened, I went to a vision board party, and I heard someone mention the power in your weak connection. So you might meet someone, but it's not just the person that you know, it might be the person that they know. And as you're meeting people and getting to know people, don't take for granted the power of a weaker connection and really trying to strengthen those connections as well. So we say, who do you know who? So, for example, it could be something as simple as you wanting to create a website. Well, your immediate network might not know how to create a website. But if you ask a friend of a friend, well, who do you know who does websites? You might, in your circle of 5 people, find out that you know somebody that knows somebody that creates websites. So that's the power of networking.
And that's so important, right? Celebrating others, right? That is definitely key. Celebrating and serving others is the key to get to the next level. That's when you're really successful, when you can help others and reach back and help others. So thanks for sharing.
And let me just say, in helping others, it may not just be, you know, you providing insight into their business, because you may not know exactly what it is that they're doing or have any experience in it. But if they're doing a business or launching a product or, you know, trying to share it on your social media. That's one way that you can support. Go to their events and buy a ticket to the event. Don't just want them to come to you a ticket because you're their friend. Those are ways that you can support.
Yes, I love that you highlighted buying a ticket, right? You have 2 listeners. Everything can't be free, okay? You buy support. I love that. So what are some of the pros and cons of being in the media? I know we can go all day with this question.
Pros and cons of being in the media. Well, I will say, for me, being married to someone who played in the NFL and being in the media per se, I wasn't one that was really highlighted. You wouldn't see me or my husband. He's very laid back. He would do some interviews, but he would shy away from, you know, doing red carpet and things like that because he's just one of those laid back kind of guys. But, you know, there were times that we would be at events or, you know, be out to dinner and someone would come up and want an autograph. Those kinds of things, the pros of it is it's amazing when you have fans and you have people that know who you are. The cons of it is it can be, you know, intrusive at times. A pro of it is that you are able to, you have access to different people and resources and, you know, sometimes doors will open that wouldn't ordinarily open just because of who you are or who you know. But the con of it is that people think you may have or may know more than you actually do. Yeah. So, you know, there are a lot of pros and cons, and those are just a few.
And thank you for sharing it, because access, and for our listeners that are listening, you do have to pay for access. You're either going to pay for access or you're going to serve for access, right? So thanks for sharing the pros and the cons of being in the media, because it is some great pros and it is some cons too. So how did you create your seat at the table? I asked all of my guests this question. You've built multiple tables for yourself, Danisha. So how did you create your seat at the table?
Well, I'll say first and foremost, show up. In showing up, for me, it was, as I mentioned, starting out as an extra, or saying, you know, hey, this is something that I want to do, but I don't know how. Or, you know, really putting yourself out there, as uncomfortable for some as it may be, and not being afraid of rejection. So creating your seat at the table by knowing that the very people that, you know, you, and Will Smith said it best, as you're beginning this climb, there may not be your immediate circle may not support you. So there's going to be some lonely times, and there's going to be those times where you have to grind and really push yourself by yourself. And that has been the case for me in several instances. But on the flip side, I've had some die-hard, loyal, true friends and family who've also said, look, what do you need? And I've had to learn to open my mouth and not have to feel like, you know, I'm just doing this by myself for myself. So in creating your seat at the table, I would say open your mouth. Make sure you show up. People don't know what you need unless you say it. As you're beginning to climb, lock arms with people, because there's people that you can lock arms with. And I used to say, you know, reach back, but it's easier when you lock arms and you're building alongside people and having people to collaborate with, and not feeling like there's competition, but rather collaboration. So those are just some of the things that I would say as you're creating your seat at the table, and not being afraid to pull up the seat and have a seat, and then not only pulling up for yourself, but also pull out the chair for the next person.
I love that. Making room for others at the table. That is so key. And you're right. Collaboration over competition. Everybody can win. It's room for all of us to eat. You just got to do the work and be consistent. That's
it.
So let's talk about your amazing journey. We all have a process, right? So I asked all of my guests this question: what did failure teach you on your journey?
Ooh. What did failure teach me on my, you know what, failure has taught me that, and when I say failure, I mentioned earlier that I had to retool. In that retooling process, I lost a lot of money. In that retooling process, I also, and point blank failure in that it didn't always sell. That cover wasn't always a hit. Failure in the sense that you had to start from the bottom and then start over. There's been times for me where, and some of you listeners may be mothers, and you really feel like at one point you can be super motivated, but then you look and you're like, wait, but my family is lacking. When people say, how do you balance it all? I used to say, oh, you know, it's possible, but now I say, you know what, there's going to be things that you have to drop or stop, or, you know, pay attention to over here that may cause something in the background to lack. So in the failing process, I've learned that I can be resilient, that I get to see who really is there for me and who isn't. I get to see that at the end of the day, this journey is going to be what it's going to be. And I believe that all things work together for the good. I've also learned that my testimony isn't just for me in my failing. That in my failing, I've also seen that there are people that are watching from the sidelines that really want to be there to help. And if you just open your mouth, that's why I mentioned earlier before, just say what it is, because people don't know unless you speak up. In the failing, I learned the power of numbers, that there's strength in numbers and different frames of reference, different thought processes and perspectives. I learned to really respect that in the downtime. So all of that to say that failure can be a beautiful thing if you allow it to be, and don't just give up. Don't waddle in that failure.
I love everything that you said, and, power in numbers, different perspectives, right? That is so true. That is so true. And just embracing the process, because it's a lesson, right? It's a lesson.
Yes.
To the next level. So you're very, very successful. So what did success teach you on your journey?
One thing that success has taught me is that I really want more of it. It's one of those things where when that momentum hits and you feel like, oh, my gosh, I've hit that, I can do that. It gives you a sense of confidence. Success has taught me that not only a level of confidence or experience, but also the ability to say, okay, not only can I do that, but now I can teach someone how to do that. Success has also taught me that those times, when you look at your peaks and your valleys and you look back, it's not always as bad as you thought it was. It very rarely is as bad as you think it is. Just keep moving. So success has taught me that if you just keep moving, there's going to be brighter days.
I love that, right? Because you look back at like, okay, this is why I went through this, but look at my end result because I didn't give up, right?
Right.
Yeah. I love that you highlighted that part. So what can we expect from you? We're in a new year, a new decade, Danisha. What can we expect from you this year in 2020?
Oh, we can definitely expect another film.
Yes.
Excited about that, in the works. Excited about what is happening with SET, Sports and Entertainment Today, the events. You can expect an amazing SET and Example conference in June. So that's just this year for 2020. For this decade, oh my goodness. I'm learning to take it day at a time as I'm setting goals and planning. But I really am putting it out there that I can foresee myself as a multimedia mogul.
I love it.
I'm just looking at the platforms and the experience that I've had, and I used to hesitate in saying it because it just seems so far-fetched, but I really do deep down in my heart feel that I, for this decade, can see myself being a multimedia mogul.
And we're going to manifest that. You said it on this show.
First time ever.
Yes, manifest that. I love that. And congratulations on all the great things that you're about to do this year and the things that you probably didn't announce. I know you're about to burst some things that you probably didn't announce, too. So I look forward to seeing all the great things God is going to do in 2020 and the decade.
Thank you, Ashley.
Yes, you are welcome. So please tell our listeners one more time how they can follow you on all social media platforms and support you.
Yes, so I am Danisha Rolle. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Twitter, D_Rolle on Instagram. You can follow Set_Media on Instagram, Set Mag on Twitter, Sports and Entertainment Today on Facebook. And I just look forward to you guys, all the listeners, really, putting your foot on the gas for 2020 and lighting it on fire, burning some rubber, and, just follow me, engage. Ashley will tell you, reach out. I'm accessible, and I'm really looking forward to seeing, not just what happens in my life, but for those of you guys that are listening and those of you guys that may just be inspired by hearing my voice and my story.
Yes, she is. Definitely reach out to Danisha. She is amazing. I did reach out to her DMs, and she did respond. So don't be afraid to shoot your shot, listeners, and connect with her. She's doing some amazing things. So, Danisha, I am so thankful that you took the time out of your very busy schedule to come to the table. This has been a powerful interview, and I can't wait to invite you back to the table.
Yes, thank you for offering me a seat at your table, Ashley.
You are welcome, and I look forward to connecting and collaborating with you this year.
Absolutely.
Yes, so thank you again.
My pleasure.
So I would like to give a special thanks to my intern, Sarah, from Tennessee State University, and my intern, Vontaria, from Winston-Salem State University. You all may follow me on Facebook at Ashley Little and on Instagram at _Ashley A. Little. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Creating Your Seat at the Table, where Ashley speaks with corporate professionals, celebrities, entrepreneurs, authors, and speakers who are transitioning or have transitioned to entrepreneurship.